it was like it took a practice league. There was like no force, no passion. It was just like, oh, I did something. I did something great. Look at me. Now give me all the accolades. Eternals. Eternals is Marvel's newest ambitious take on a bunch of heroes that are these godlike beings that were sent to Earth thousands and thousands of years ago to protect humanity from these creatures called the Deviants. As the story progresses, questions are raised of why haven't the Eternals never gotten involved in any of humanity's worst parts of being. And we also discover kind of like the real reason of them existing and why they're here. As you can see by my tone, I am not as excited as I probably usually am, or how I don't have as much energy usually. Is that's because this film was pretty much a joyless, blood-sucking dribble of a film. Over budget, studio. This film is pretty much Marvel's bragging of notoriety of I have this actress, I have this A-list person, I have this A-list director, and you're gonna fall for it. Not this time. This film is pretty much, yeah, it's a blood-sucking film. I really felt depressed when I left this film. I don't know how. I think it was more on a subconscious level. Like, I literally left the theater, got in my car, and started playing Sarah Mclachlan. There is nothing about this film that is ambitious or different. Like, I hear this a lot from people that this film is different for Marvel. I don't know if I agree with that. Different how? Different that there was like more talking, more monologue bits, more, I don't know if it's monologue bits, but more or less action. There's really nothing about this film that is remotely interesting. It's very like here. It still have the same problems that the Marvel films that have the third act, or the first and two act. I guess the first and second act are more of the director, writers, ownership, and then the studio takes over in the third act. It's still that. It is nothing different. I know Chloe Zhao is one of these new directors, or one of these directors that's very known for her visuals. Nothing about this film was visually appealing in the slightest a bit. I can think of maybe one or two shots. I was like, oh, that's nice, but it didn't stand out. It didn't catch my eye really. It was like, okay. The CGI, I don't know what's going on with Marvel. I don't know what's going on with a lot of these films that use a lot of CGI, but the CGI is horrible, like noticeably horrible. At this point, these films are becoming animation films because there's so much CGI, and at the rate of which these films are released, I don't know how you can pretty much complete all of that in such amount of time that at the rate they're being released, because if anyone knows, animation takes a long time to do. It takes a long time to finish. And that's what these films are pretty much becoming. And it's like, wow, it's horrible. So I don't know, this budget of this film must have been more toward the actors, like Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek. I don't know what was this film, what was the purpose of this? Like, why was this made? And yeah, to me, the balance of emotion and action is where Marvel is having trouble with, and what a lot of these comic book movies are having trouble with. I keep going back to Wonder Woman, the first one. Although I did enjoy Wonder Woman 84, but I will say, and I've said this in my Wonder Woman 84 review, the first film is still the best. The first film of Wonder Woman, I feel like, is what people should use as a template now. A lot of times you hear a lot of these a lot of these comic book films, a lot of the creators and directors say that they look at Richard Donner Superman as a template. I think now we have to change that and look at Wonder Woman, the first one, as a template. The balance of that film is perfect. Whatever you say about the third act, the balance of Wonder Woman 2017 is a perfect balance of action, emotions, story, everything. This film wanted to focus more on the emotions, fine. But with that, it didn't have that thing that people go to see these Marvel films. And I've said this before, I said it last time in my Black Widow film, another whatever movie. You have to, Marvel has to start changing. Since they're the leading studio in the comic book movie realm, they have to start changing how they execute and make these films, because people will start getting bored. Now, I'm going to sound like I'm kind of contradicting myself. I also feel like the directors, creators, writers have to also realize when they go into these type of films, they have to kind of be able to lend themselves and be able to want to collaborate, to also want to kind of do these type of films. Like, you know, I know a lot of people look down upon comic book movies because they are just like pretty standard. There's nothing really different about them for the most part as far as the Marvel films. I think there has to be a balance of taking a swing and going into something knowing what you're getting yourself into, and then everyone can come together and make something great. This film it is marketing itself like it took a risk and a swing, and it did not do that. It was like it took a practice swing. There was like no force, no passion. It was just like, oh, I did something. I did something great. Look at me. Now give me all the accolades. No. You didn't commit. There was no commitment in this film whatsoever. I didn't feel anything from this film. I just felt it was joyless. Like, just joyless. And God. This film pretty much told a standard story, a discussion rather, or it presented a discussion or an observation of humanity and why humanity is worth saving, even if it's against the greater good of the universe. I felt like I've heard that so many times, and now with today and what's going on in our society today, sometimes you kind of question, like, is that really true? Is humanity worth saving? Even if it's against the greater good of the universe. Is it really worth saving? So I was just like, okay, interesting topic or discussion, but I've heard this before. I don't know. And then when it gets to the reveal of you know, I guess the twist, it's just like, okay, it turns into the overly high CGI big monster, whatever. I don't give a damn. With the exception of Angelina Jolie, Thana, Sprite, all of the side characters, everything else was, I didn't feel any connection with anybody. I know the main characters were Cersei and Richard Madden, but I didn't feel, it was like this love story that was no connection there. I felt nothing. It was like totally just like, okay. So I'm not going to continue discussing this because I feel like I said what I needed to say about this film. I'm getting quite bored with these type of films. Maybe even comic book films, because I feel like when you take a risk, there's no commitment. And then when you take a risk and there's a good, those aren't getting the recognition. And then because of that, they don't really do great at the box office, and then studio heads get scared, and then they go back to what they know best. So, me personally, whatever. Alright guys, that is going to do it for this video. Check it out. I know this film is going to start a lot of discussions because this film has already started a lot of blah blah blah. So, you know, anyway, if you're new to this channel, please like, comment, subscribe. Please subscribe, guys. I am on my way to 1,000 subs. Help me get there. Share this video. Tell your mom, tell your friends that Aboutdre got something to say. I will catch you in the next video.